for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. We're cleaning up some articles I've wanted to get to and haven't been able to, so I'm going to dump them on you right now. First, we're going to talk about Swizzlers, who's introducing the Great British Pubs Chew Bars. And the profits from the sweets will go to a dedicated intensive care unit research fund for the Manchester University National Health Service Foundation. So they've launched this new product, and let's just dig into the commercial.
Welcome to Swizzlers. I'm here to tell you how we make our new Great British Puds Chew Bars. It's all down to this, the Puddinger 3000. Now I simply think about the most amazing pudding I've ever tasted, and pow! And this is just the one flavour. The others are in here. Oh, Puds, Dave, not Spods. New Great British Puds. Your favourite pudding flavours transformed into a chew.
Imagine that. And I did read a product review, and man, apparently they taste great. So, way to go, Swizzlers. Anyway, that's the fun for the day. Now we're going to get over to the serious stuff. Okay, first of all, I've struggled a bit to understand how the cookie wars are going to shake out. This Robert Weatherhead, he has been studying cookies and e-marketing since 2004 and seemed to understand it. The point is that Google is going to be blocking third-party cookies by January 2022, which will be here before you know it. And it's been a pillar for the world of ad tech. Okay? Recent Bloomberg article did a great job of attempting how to explain the wide-reaching implications of this change. It's a fundamental shift in the way data is passed between web properties. We did a system for E-Trade back in the day, and they had 4 different server platforms, and they were sending a cookie between the 3 of them. And it might have worked great while you were online, but when you went offline, they didn't send us the cookie, and they didn't seem to save it either. And so they could connect you up to all of your properties while you were there, but try and build a database with that, it was a mess. But anyway, so we've never really worked closely with cookies. But right now, Safari, Firefox, and Chrome are rejecting third-party cookies already. Right now, there's a really important point here, which is third-party cookies. Okay, so there are ad trackers that you can put on your website, and they will follow people around no matter what website they're going to. Now, you'll also see messages like, this site uses cookies. We used a cookie way back in the beginning days of ISSM.org, so that if you registered and you came back, it would log you in. And that was a pretty nice thing. And that's all we did with it. We didn't track where you went and where else you were and all that other stuff. But it was very, very handy to put it on your computer and just check for that cookie, and then you didn't have to log in. Now, it wasn't reliable enough because if you change computers or something else. So we, rather than force you into registering again, which a lot of websites do, and in fact, Target Marketing is a great example. Every time I go to Target Marketing, the pop-ups come up. Please subscribe, please subscribe, please subscribe. Be a great use for a first-party cookie to say, you're already subscribed. Oh, good. And with Firefox, I synchronize not only my passwords, but also my cookies. So I would be able to log in on my phone and all other places. Not log in, but you'd see the cookie and you'd quit bothering me. Every day, all of their sites pop up this thing saying, please subscribe. You got to close it up. And it's annoying. So that's not a third-party cookie. That's a first-party cookie. Third-party cookies are the things that follow you around that nobody really likes. Not like a real cookie. Anyway, so first-party data is going to become more powerful. And who wins on that? Probably Facebook, right? Facebook has an immense user base, combination of profile and user behavior, and is already a behemoth. So they'll probably get stronger. And the publishing world might also. We just mentioned a magazine or two, because now you know that I'm interested in direct marketing. So you have not only you have the publisher, but you have some context, and you might be able to actually find people that are interested in direct mail, because target marketing isn't exclusively about mail, but it'd be a subset. And so you could reach out to those people if they've registered, which may be why they're doing it so much. I don't even know if their email list is available. And many sites say, you can't ever, we'll never share your data with anyone. Well, I think that's ridiculous and short-sighted. With whitetail.com, when I founded it, I said, we'll use the golden rule privacy statement, which is we won't release your information to anyone we wouldn't want to get something from. And I think that's a pretty fair way to look at things. Anyway, so, but one of the things about Facebook is that their app follows you around whether you're on Facebook or not. And so in a sense, it's kind of a third-party cookie on its own. And it tracks you, and we've done some shows on that. If they shut that off, then you'll be losing a key part of your Facebook puzzle and something that actually does drive advertiser ROI, okay, because you can use that to build context as well. Now, Google, probably their power will grow, and that's why they're refusing to accept them. They're saying, why should we let third parties give people the information that we could give them? Android represents almost 2/3 of the browser market through Chrome, okay, the biggest OS. Now, on my on my Android, I use Firefox. I sync it. I try not to use Chrome. I don't want to give Google any more information than I have to. The general consensus in the industry is that it's going to revolve around persistent IDs and browser fingerprinting. And again, we've done shows on that too. The fact is that there's enough uniqueness to your computer. Maybe you're still using Windows 7. Maybe you still got a low resolution monitor. All of those things are fed to the web so that it can tailor the site to your specs. No sense sending you high resolution data if you can't see it anyway. And when you take that in combination with your IP address, which is relatively specific and fixed even though it isn't. Some days I'm in Green Bay, some days I'm in Watertown, some days I'm in Menominee Falls. When I check it on here, it moves around, but always I'm on a sort of a Wisconsin base IP address, depending on the server that I'm going through. Okay, so what should you do to prepare? Well, according to Robert, if you stick with Google and Facebook, you're going to be kind of protected because whatever they do, you're in, right? And you should steer clear of any ad tech solutions, especially new solutions or strategies that are overly reliant on third-party cookies. That's pretty simple stuff. The days of third-party cookies are coming to an end, let's hope. What comes next is just as tasty. Yeah, okay. I saw a post just today because I do a lot of posts on mail. Here's a strategy I would recommend. The post said, I'm increasingly moving my clients away from digital because of the complexity of regional and local privacy regulations. Think about that. And so he's moving them to mail. Now, I'm not saying that you have to somehow use mail exclusively, but with mail, you can drive traffic to a place where you can collect the email. And you can give them a reason if they order. Be sure to watch for the shipment. We'll email you, right? A check printer client of mine way back, probably in the 90s, was collecting 70, 80% emails, and no one else was getting more than about 20. I said, how are you doing that? They said, oh, it's easy. They said, we'll send you an email when to expect your checks in the mailbox so that no one can take them. I thought that was brilliant. Give people a reason. Or just put it up there. Most people understand that they need a reason. Okay, here's an interesting article. I don't even remember where I got this from, Brad Slager. But Red Bull was facing an internal effort to alter the corporate structure and remodel the company to be more compliant with racial diversity. There's a real challenge with racial diversity because if all the companies want to hire enough diverse racial composition, there may not be enough. It doesn't even out with the population. That's the tricky part. Okay? So let's say you wanted, what would be an interesting occupation? Let's say you wanted sword swallowers. And it turns out that sword swallowers are mainly Romanian, which is mainly white. If you needed to hire a team of sword swallowers, how would you get enough racial diversity? Well, the answer really is, you would say, well, we're going to be as diverse as we can within the pool of qualified candidates, rather than saying we're going to be as diverse as we can based on global racial population makeup. Just like you wouldn't put yourself under the standard of saying, I'm going to orchestrate the racial diversity based on the Nigerian ultramarathon runners' racial composition. Because there's one category of people that are really, really, really good at those long distance races, right? I mean, it's just true. It's great. And guess what? I think they're pretty monolithic, to be honest. They run from their, once they can run, they run, and, makes them good at it. And maybe they run up and down the volcano every day, and they can handle altitudes. Anyway, so be careful when you're facing this to step back and think a little bit about what the issue really is. Now, I called out Nike, who has no black athletes on their board of directors. Not even somebody like Kanye West, who said, Adidas better put me on their board of directors. Yes, I watched Kanye's political rally the other day. It was a lot of fun. He's really different. And Adidas sells to black athletes. That's one of their main markets. Nike, the same thing. And there's no black athletes on their board or even in their senior management. The Nike senior management, all white. And of course, there's black billionaires that may have started out as athletes. Magic Johnson, great entrepreneur. So anyway, it's not so simple. So what did Red Bull do? Well, rather than the typical scenario where the company ends up sounding as if it admits it had been racist and discriminatory forever, it might have been, right? But in most cases, we're just trying to produce a good product, right, for a fair price and, make you better at what you do by make you jump higher or whatever. Now, there's some pushback on this. Goya Foods, which makes Hispanic, I guess that would be the thing, Hispanic, like cans of beans and stuff. The president, Bob, I don't know how to say that, Onaway, I don't know how to say it, but the president was invited to the White House. Now, he'd been at the White House a bunch of times during the Obama administration. Why? Because he's a successful businessman, he's grown that company like crazy, and he's Hispanic, right? So, if you're going to have Hispanic Day, you want to invite Bob. So he went to the Obama White House, and I think he went to the Bush White House, but I'm sure he went to the Obama White House. And then the Trump White House invited him, and sure, I'll come. And he said nice things about some of the initiatives. Well, then, all the activists came down on him and said, you shouldn't be associating with that terrible Trump. And instead of backing down, he reiterated his words of support for the initiatives from the Trump administration. And, I think the Trump administration is trying to do a lot. I went to a rally way back. I didn't get in. It was way more people than I expected. But I thought, I want to hear about this. Maybe there's something to these accusations. And I'm in a pretty white section of Wisconsin. And pretty much all he did was talk about what he wanted to do for the inner cities. I thought, it may really be honestly what he wants to do. Although most would deny that, although I went and actually heard him for myself, which I encourage. And I thought to myself, if you want to play to the crowd, this is probably not the place to say all that. He had Sheriff Clark as his intro, really great. I love Sheriff Clark, I really do. Was the county sheriff for Milwaukee County, and he did the intro. So it was like the opposite of what I expected, the absolute opposite. So he kept on going. So what happened in Red Bull's case? An activist. There was an activist push within its ranks. An internal company-issued letter from some employees was critical that the company had not been more vocal in its support of Black Lives Matter. The letter was leaked to the public. Okay, and what do you do next? Right? Could be a big PR crisis. Well, Red Bull Corporate fired the CEO and the president of Red Bull North America. Because apparently they had some other big executive, because apparently they had some evidence that that's where the thing came from. And they declared itself to already be a racially inclusive company, which they probably are. I mean, you got to follow the laws, right? Right? I mean, you can't just be a racist company. I don't even know why you would. If I find a great modeler, I'm going to hire them. They might be a purple banana or something, and that would be okay. Anyway, we reject racism in this is the statement that they released to the public. We reject racism in every form. We always have, and we always will. Anyone who knows anything about our company knows this. Red Bull has always put people and their dreams, I love this, their dreams and accomplishments at its core, and values the contribution of each and every person, no matter who they are. We want everyone who feels this way to be welcome in Red Bull. Absolutely right. That makes it healthy for all the employees. It's really amazing. You don't because you can't win. You can't win this. They can go back 30 years on some tweet that there's no Twitter 30 years ago, but 30 years ago, some article or something, I published a lot of stuff, and twist something, and all of a sudden you're accused. I want a company that I've dedicated my life and talents to at least find out about it and defend me if I need it. Okay? Anyway, no apology for misdeeds not committed. No gesturing about how the company will be making symbolic maneuvers to appease the activist voices. And no admission that the company needs to address flaws in its structure. We're doing great. Unbelievable. But to deliver even more of a message, apparently the company canceled a number of cultural events and dissolved cultural teams in numerous countries. I don't know what cultural events means. I thought that they supported like X Games and stuff. But apparently they wanted to make a point that they will not be extorted. And you may not agree with this, but, I did a show wondering where the money goes when Bank of America gives $1 billion to BLM. I don't know where it goes. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'd like to know where it went. If I was given $1 million or $100,000 or $10, far as I can tell, where you donate the money is called Blue Wave or something, and the money just seems to go to a political action committee. It doesn't really seem to help the blacks, as I said. Shaq did an ad for pizza, and that money's going back into the black community. There's a lot of ways you can help, but just giving in without thinking, just to make this symbolic gesture. I mean, Amazon supported them, and they still looted the store in Seattle, I guess, or they were beaten on it. I don't know if they ever got in or not. They had plastic windows. So, have a great day. Like and share. I'm John Miglosh. Bye-bye.